Today, we are going to be looking at how to create an expense analyzer agent and a LinkedIn multi-post generator agent. Before we start building the agents, I want to talk about how does an AI agent work. It could have inputs such as a user query like what is the current temperature, some sensor data from IoT devices which could be again temperature in the room, or transaction data of a company or of an individual for past month or a year. Then there is an agent which has its LLM and tools. LLM is like its brain, which could be from GPT, Gemini, Claude, and the tools could be different third party APIs, databases, code interpreters. Think of LLMs as a brain and tools as hands and legs. You need LLMs to decide what actions to take, but you need the tools, your hands and legs, to take those actions. And lastly, you get an output, which could be answered like what is the current temperature to your user query. Actions, so basis sensor data, it can start or switch off the AC, and visuals about your transaction history and the categorization of different transactions. Before we move ahead, I want to talk about the two use cases that we are going to be building today. So we are going to build an expense categorizer or analyzer agent, which will basically take all our transactions and tell us which expense is falling under which category. And secondly, we are going to be taking a LinkedIn post generator or content generation agent. It is going to take a topic of your interest and it is going to create 3 posts. Now, these two use cases are already covered by different apps that are already there, and you actually don't need an AI agent for those. But the idea here is to learn how an agent works and to do it by building something practical that could be useful for you. And once you do it, you can then move on to complex agents. Next, I want to talk about the tools we are going to need. So we are going to use n8n, which is a no-code open source automation platform. We are going to use OpenAI API so that we can call the LLMs, and we will use Google Sheets to input data, output data, and store it. Let's look at the structure of the agent before we start building this. So it will have input in the form of transaction details. It will have a prompt which will classify the rules of categorization, and it will have an LLM as its brain. I am using GPT 4.1 mini because it's a much simpler task. And then as an output, it will give categories of different expenses. Once you sign up to n8n.io and start your workspace, this is what it will look like. You'll click on add first step and it's asking you to add a trigger. So there are multiple types of trigger. You can trigger it manually, you can trigger it on a schedule, you can trigger it on a webhook call, and there are other types of triggers as well. We are going to trigger it manually for now. Next, we are going to give it our transaction details. So I've already loaded up in this Google Sheet and I'm going to connect it now. I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm going to search for sheets and then I'm going to get row. So basically I'll click this and then as you see I have a credential that I've connected with. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to show create new credential. Now I would recommend using OAuth 2. You can just click on sign in with Google and you will get to choose which account you want. I'm not doing it because I already have signed in. And then you are asked to select the document. So the file that we have chosen will be here and then we'll choose the sheet. So I'm going to choose this sheet. Next, you can also add different filters. So normally there is no need for a filter in this workflow, but what I'm going to do is add it for test data. So basically what I mean is there are almost like 500 rows here. So I don't want it to run at every point when I'm testing this. So I'm going to just click on the narration and I'm going to click on filter with narration. I'm going to paste this value here so that it only tests the first row, and when we are ready, we will remove this filter and then do it on the overall flow. Now you need to connect it with an AI agent. So I'm going to click on AI and then I'm going to select AI agent. As you can see, there is a source for prompt in user message and it says connected chat trigger node. Now we are not chatting with it, we are just clicking this or manually triggering this. So I'm going to change this to define below and we are going to give it some user message. I'll come back to it and we'll click on add option here and we'll click on system message. The system message will have all the rules of categorization and the user message will have each row which will tell it what is the narration, what is the amount, so that it has some data as to how to categorize it. We will go back here, we will deactivate this with this power button and we'll just execute this so that we have some data here. Now as you see, we have the data here. I'm going to go on this agent and I'm going to write the user message first. So narration, and I'm going to click this one. I'm going to expand this. Then I'm going to click on withdrawal amount and then deposit amount. Now I'm going to copy this withdrawal amount here and deposit amount here. Now what will happen is every row item will be changed because we have chosen an expression. Since we will have all the data, this will change for every prompt. Now let me just go back and write the system message. It's a bit lengthy, but let me just do that. What I did is I went to ChatGPT and I gave it instruction as to how it should classify and ask it to create a system prompt. Now let me just walk you through it. So I'm going to expand this. You are an expert financial transaction classifier. For each transaction, you have to assign one category label. There are some rules: miscellaneous investment, loan EMI, and so forth and so forth. And then final instruction: for each transaction, output only the category name. Do not output anything else or blank entries. And I've also given it an ambiguous one if none of the above rules apply, so that we make sure that there is one entry, and those ambiguous ones, those 5 or 10 entries, we can just look at it manually. Now we need to go back and connect an LLM. So we are going to click on chat model here and we are going to click on OpenAI. I'm going to choose this, and again we need to connect a credential. So we'll go to create new credential, and what you need to do is put your API key here. For the API key, you need to go to platform.openai.com and then you need to create a project. It is very simple. You need to come into the project and manage projects. Then on the left side, you see an API keys here. You need to come here and you need to create a new secret key. You need to put in some name. So I'll put in n8n demo. I'm going to click on create secret key. And then I have it. I can just copy this and paste it here. For the model, I have already selected GPT 4.1 mini. This is a very simple task, so we don't need to give it GPT-5 and run out of API credits. Now we'll just activate this and we'll just execute the workflow to see how it is working. Now we have got income/deposit, and I think that's what we wanted. If we come here and if we see, we have income/deposit. If the nation contains salary, reimbursement, refund, deposit, credit from employer, etc., then put as income/deposit. So it has followed what we wanted. Now let's just update this data in our Google Sheets. So I'm going to click plus here, search for Sheets, and then I'm going to click on update row in sheet. Now let's just select the same document that we had earlier, and let's just select the same sheet. Now there is an option to map each column manually, and you need to select the unique identifier to match the column on. So I'm going to select narration because it generally is very unique. And for narration, I'm going to go to get rows in sheet. I'm going to drag this narration and paste it here. And I don't need to add these date, reference number and other amounts. I just need the category. The category will be the output here. And that's all we needed to do. Now I'll just click on execute step to see if it's working. And as it says node executed successfully, let's check our sheets, and there you have it. We have the income/deposit here. Now I have removed the filter that I have kept in this sheet, and now if we start this, it will start executing. Now as you see here, it has got 541 items. So those were the line entries that I had in the last financial year. And as you can see, it's working an item by item. So it will take some time. So I'll be back after some time when it's done. It has ran through all 541 of them, and it took about 5 minutes 40 seconds. So let's just look at what it has done. So yeah, it has put in the data, but some places are still blank. There is something it's still picking up. I think I may need to refine the prompt, but that's okay. I've also created some pivots to see how it is going to work, and it is giving me expenditure data. And my miscellaneous expenses being this high is something that was an eye opener for me as well. But let's just move on to the next one, which is going to be our LinkedIn multi-post generator agent. So what we are going to do here is give it a topic as an input. Then there will be an idea generator agent which will use a GPT-5 and an output parser to create three different ideas on that particular topic. Now, don't worry about what an output parser is. It basically is a way to define how we want our output as. So if we want it to be in a very structured format, we can tell it in this. Then we go to a post generator agent, which will take all the three different ideas and then use the LLM, which is GPT-5, because it's something which is a complex task. And again, it will have an output parser. So we will get this and we'll store it as our three LinkedIn posts. Let me just show you the sheet structure. So LinkedIn post, we need a topic name, three ideas and three posts. Now let's start our LinkedIn agent. I'm going to click on form and I'm going to click on triggers on new n8n form event. There are multiple ways to give the topic to the system, but this is a very clean way that I have. Form title, LinkedIn post, form description, give the topic for LinkedIn post. It wants us to add form elements, so we'll click on add form element, and field name we will say topic. Text type, we'll click on required field, and placeholder we'll keep it blank. It's basically the sample text to display before you start filling the form. And what we need to do is create an agent for this. So I'm going to click on plus. I'm going to click on AI agent. And again, I'm going to change this connected chat trigger node to define below. Now let's just deactivate this for a while and let's just execute this workflow. So I'm going to write post AI job market. Let's just do that. It has been submitted and it has executed successfully. Now let's come into our AI agent. Let's give it the topic and let's come here and add the system message, and let's ensure we click on require specific output format, because we wanted to produce three ideas and not just say, here are the three ideas, 1, 2, 3. We want it to be coming out as three separate fields. So we'll click on require specific output format and it says connect an output parser. So what I will do is click on chat model. I'll click on OpenAI and I'll choose GPT-5 here since it is a bit complex. And there you have it. Now I'm going to switch this on and I'm going to click on output parser. I'm clicking on structured output parser. Now this basically is a JSON. Don't worry about it. I also don't know how to code. What it tells you is what is the field it needs and what is the example. So let's say state, California. Cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego. So we are not going to write this by ourselves. Similar to how we wrote the system prompt for our previous workflow, we are going to ask ChatGPT, write a JSON where we have three ideas coming out. So I'm going to copy all of that and come back here with the system prompt and this output parser. Now let's look at the system prompt. I'll just full screen that. Give me three different angles for LinkedIn post on topic. Topic we have defined in user message. Each should focus on distinct perspective, tone or narrative. This ensures variety and helps you pick the best direction. Give three ideas as three different fields. And let's just look at the output parser. So what I've done is created three fields: idea 1, idea 2, idea 3. Idea 1, future of remote work and its impact, how AI is reshaping, and these values don't matter. You can just put how AI is and ... as well. It really wouldn't matter. So I'll come back here and then I'll just pin this data. So what will happen is it will pin this data and it will help us in testing. So I'm going to click on execute workflow and I'm going to see what ideas it are going to give out. Now that we are output, let's look at what it has. So it has written idea 1, idea 2, idea 3. Idea 1 is personal story angle from curiosity to business impact. Second is industry insight angle. AI job market is fragmenting into 6 lanes and so forth. And then you have a contrarian practical angle. Stop hunting titles. Make your current job role AI native in 30 to 60 days. So it has given us 3 ideas. Now we have our ideas. Let's add another agent that will basically write the posts for it. So I'm going to click on AI. I'm going to click on AI agent. And it has the same connected chat trigger node defined. So I'm going to change it to define below. And in the user prompt, I'm going to click on output. so that it has all the three different ideas here. Now again I'm going to add the system message and I'm going to require specific output format. I'm going to click on chat model. I'm going to click on OpenAI and this again will be GPT-5. And for the parser, we are going to click on structured output parser. Again, it has given us the same example. So let me just go back and get these two values. So we again have the system prompt from ChatGPT. You're an expert content writer. I'll provide you with three ideas: create posts between 150 to 250 words, give it directional, sparking discussions, and so forth. Put this in the format and make sure each one has its unique voice, angle, and flow. Now, well, let's just look at this output parser. Now again, post 1, post 2, post 3. Exactly the same format. And as you can see, I have written dot 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 because it doesn't really matter. It just needs to understand what are three different fields it needs to output. So I'm just going to come here and pin this data again. So our ideas are finalized and I'm going to run this flow. While it happens, let me just add a Google Sheets node. So basically we are going to update the row, or rather append row in sheet. Basically we will store all the data that we have. So let's just wait for it to create the posts. So now the node has run successfully and we have the outputs. So let's just see post 1, post 2, post 3. So now what we'll do, we'll come here and we'll select the same sheets that we had earlier. First AI agent, and the list will be basically LinkedIn post. Now we need to fill all these details. So I'm going to start the topic name which we have from our form submission. We'll paste it here. We'll paste it again here. Then we'll come to the agent. Then we'll put on the three different ideas. Idea 1, idea 2, idea 3. And this is in the form of an expression. So as the topic changes, these things will also change as the workflow runs. And then we need to add the posts. So again, from the second agent, we'll come here and drag all of them here. And that's it. We can just execute this step. And as we will see, all of this data will get populated here. See, it is here, LinkedIn post number 1. I didn't chase a title, problem, experiment, outcome, what I learned. It's a very good format. Then LinkedIn post 2, it's not about jobs, marketing is fragmenting into 6 lanes. It talks about the 6 different lanes, patterns I see, getting interviews, and forward looking take. Then let's see outcomes beat job boards. Stop hunting titles, make your role AI native. So it's asking you to learn AI in 30 to 60 days. Then it has all the different types of steps you need to follow. And then it also says, want a nudge to start? Comment with a workflow you'll optimize this month. And I'll share a starter template and something like that. So this is how you have created 3 different posts on a single topic using AI. We can create it on any topic we want. And just to run it again, you will have to unpin this data and this again. And once you click on execute workflow, or rather execute workflow, you will be asked to fill up the form again and it will run in one go. Now, if you want all of this as a template, you can get it in my free school community. I'll put the link down in description. What you need to do, come here, join this community, come to this YouTube resources tab, and then you will see whatever videos I've posted, I've kept this here. So let's say if I click on this one, you see the video is linked here and there is a JSON file. You just need to click on this and you need to click on download. And when you come back to n8n, you click on these 3 dots and you click on import from file, and all of this will appear directly into your space. And I will also put a sticky note where I'll put the instructions on how to set this up. I hope this gave you a basic idea of how to think about building different agents, and maybe you start writing these LinkedIn posts. You can write these on. I'm not going to put this in my LinkedIn. So yeah, build on and let me know if you have any questions. Put them down in the comments. I respond to every single comment. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.